Hi, welcome to the greatest show on earth, aka you're gonna regret clicking on this video in like 5 fucking seconds. What's up guys, it's Duck here, aka Troublesome Junction, and this is gonna be a different episode for the Milk Tank, and it's going to be a movie review over Thomas and Friends' Hero of the Rails. And it's kind of weird because, you know, you don't really hear too many people talk about this movie at all anymore. You know, you usually hear people talk about the newer movies, of course, like Journey Beyond Sodor, Big World Big Adventures, Great Race, and then, you know, you got ones like Lost Treasure, Day of the Diesels, Tale of the Brave, always ones that get brought up, and dare I say Misty Island Rescue. But with all of that aside, as much as people love Hero of the Rails, not as many people talk about it anymore. It's kind of crazy, so I figured I should just, you know, make this video just to kind of give my take on it, because it's been a damn good while since I've seen Hero of the Rails. So join me on the cozy couch, aka a place where I'm gonna be sitting here forever alone watching Thomas movies, so I gotta compensate with internet people. Shut up. Without further ado, let's get into it.
Hero of the Rails.
Look at him, he said the name. We can all go home now. It's an ordinary summer on the island of Sodor. The engines are all just kind of minding their own business until, oh dear God!
Suddenly, there was a whoosh and a wheesh and a clackety-clack.
And a swish and a bish. And the divorce papers for my wife for cheating on me with the fucking mailman. We then get a montage of all the engines just minding their own business, going about their day until they all get jump scared from Spencer steaming by fast. So Emily nearly dies, Toby's passengers are all fucking dead, James bitches about his pain, and Edward's just old.
Slow down, Speedy!
We're then taken to Knapford Station where all the engines are discussing what on earth they just saw.
He was big.
He was silver.
I don't know, Gordon, for that being the first thing you pointed out, sounds pretty fucking racist. Like, what the fuck you got against silver engines? Then Squilliam Fancyson pulls up into Knapford Station to flex why he's there. The reason he's there being that he has to finish the Duke and Duchess's summer house for this summer.
I'm very busy, no time to chat.
I love the fact that this bastard really had the audacity to say that he doesn't have the time to talk, despite the fact that he stopped completely in his tracks just to flex about what the hell he was doing. Like, does this guy know how long it takes a steam engine to build back up momentum to go on its way? You know how awkward that must be? Well, small object with a face, now that I'm done making you feel inferior, I must be on my way now. No time for chit-chat. Any moment now. Here I go. I'm on my way. You're still inferior! Bitch! After Rice Scum pulls away, the engines start to talk about how much of a pain it's going to be to work with him for the entire summer. And then following suit, the engines are going about their day-to-day business, and Spencer's just being a complete asshat to them, literally stopping in his tracks to just fuck with them. How the hell are you slowing down on Gordon's Hill and able to go up? Like, that's the logic of Thomas 101 that you can't break. If Gordon can't do it, neither can you, big shot.
It takes 2 old engines to pull 1 freight car, does it? I'm pulling 5.
Tough talk for a fuckhood who can't even pull a brake van with his train. And whoop-de-fucking-do, 5 trucks? That ain't shit.
Only take 5 freight cars at a time, said Arthur.
At the end of the day at Tidmouth Sheds, the engines are having an indignation meeting referring to how much of an asshat Spencer's been all throughout the day.
He's taken over my express line. He'll never have a shiny coat like mine.
James, shut the fuck up about your paint. We get it, you're fucking communist. And let's be real now, silver is far more shiny than red. The next day, the engines are in the dockyards, which looks remarkably like the ones used in the earlier seasons, and then Spencer shows up, where he starts to taunt Thomas on how much stronger he is than him.
What do you mean?
I mean, Thomas, you just can't pull heavy loads.
But I mean, he isn't wrong. Then the engines start to hype up Thomas and talk about how he's just as strong, if not stronger than Spencer.
Thomas is not a toy. He's a really useful engine, and he's very strong.
You're not a big engine.
Yes, I am.
No, you're not.
I think he was expecting someone really useful.
Not gonna lie, y'all sound fake as fuck right now. Then after this, Spencer gets the idea to challenge Thomas to a test of strength, and Thomas foolishly accepts the challenge. The next morning, the challenge is held to see who can take the heavy flatbeds to the summer house the fastest.
You will each take different tracks round the island. You may only stop for coal and water.
You know, that seems kind of unfair to send them down different tracks, seeing as, you know, neither track is gonna have an equal length to get to the summer house, so what if someone has a shorter route than the other?
Yeah, that's cheating.
As the race continues, it's very apparent that Thomas is not having an easy time with this. Then when Thomas reaches the top of a very steep hill and goes down, he loses control of his brakes.
Screamed Thomas, and indeed, he did not.
Okay, but what engine in their right mind left all these freight cars on the tracks? Like, are they trying to make some kind of fashion statement? Yeah, take that, fat hat, and the hundreds or so passengers that probably died in that high-speed crash. Bitch. Thomas is still wayward and he still has no control over his brakes and ends up getting diverted onto an abandoned line. And as he keeps pushing through the trees, he finds an engine nestled between the bushes and trees. He's in the trees, and the trees are speaking Vietnamese. And now we have the introduction of fan favorite character, Hiro. Yeah, that's my boy Hiro. We all love Hiro. Even my boy Fries over there. Ain't that right, Fries?
Hell yeah.
Yeah, you tell him, Fries. As we find out from Thomas chatting up with Hiro, we find out that Hiro is an older engine who was brought to Sodor. Over time, his parts started to wear down, and rather than send him back to his original railway, they just left him there. Okay, so I feel like the Fat Controller just has a habit for just abandoning things. Like the Mid-Sodor Railway, like with Duke, that station in Oliver's Find, a whole ass town in the Great Discovery, Great Waterton, and now this shit. There's a whole bunch of other examples of stuff that's just been on Sodor, it was just been completely fucking forgotten about. Like, I don't know, man. For someone who says he likes to preserve steam engines, you sounded pretty sus, man. Thomas wants to help Hiro out, but Hiro tells him not to tell the Fat Controller about his whereabouts. The reason being because Hiro fears that if the Fat Controller sees him in the condition he's in, he'll send him to the smelter's yard. And I really do think that this is a really good way to implement the fact that a lot of steam engines have that fear of scrap, where it actually makes sense. You don't really see the trope even touched upon anymore in Thomas. All jokes aside, I really do like how Hiro was handled here, because, you know, talking about his character via, like, when Thomas asks him questions about his past and him explaining his backstory and whatnot, and how he's just portrayed as being this old, wise, gentle giant, is something that's just really nice in Thomas and Friends. I think that this is one of those traits that Hiro has that made a lot of people gravitate towards him. After Thomas vows to help Hiro, he goes back to the steamworks to get his brakes fixed. Man, sure is nice having a scene without Spencer being a pretentious prick. Oh god fucking damn it! Spencer shows up at the steamworks just with the purpose of bragging to Thomas that he won, but is shocked to find out when Thomas is a good sport about it, and starts to get upset because he's a petty bitch. Then Victor just starts roasting the fuck out of him.
Do you have a job to do, Spencer? Or are you just going to stand here gossiping? You're taking up a lot of track.
Thomas then sees a flatbed in the corner of the room with spare parts on it. He then gets the idea to take those parts to Hiro. They're kind of establishing the part smuggling trade thing that goes on throughout the movie. After Thomas takes the parts to Hiro, he then realizes that the Duke and Duchess's summer house isn't very far from Hiro's hideout, meaning that Spencer would be snooping around in the area constantly. The next morning, Percy approaches Thomas asking him what's the matter, and rather than keeping Hiro's secret under wraps, he just tells him. Man, this guy really isn't good at keeping secrets. The way Percy helps is by taking Thomas's load while he goes to visit Hiro, and before he does that, he chooses to hide his mail cars. Don't know why he just didn't couple up Thomas's thing behind him, but whatever. After Thomas is on his way to Hiro, Spencer's nosy ass shows up and he starts interrogating what he's doing.
This is very strange. Very strange indeed.
You know, it wouldn't be strange if you were minding your own damn business. After Thomas takes the spare parts to Hiro, Candace Flynn pops out of nowhere and starts interrogating him again.
Nigga, you thought you had a sub! Why the fuck are you here?
Then he starts following him. Like, dude, do you not remember the reason you were brought to Sodor in the first place? Go do your own damn work. Then Thomas finds out that Percy broke down trying to pull his load. So then Thomas goes and takes Percy to the steamworks, where Victor starts to question what happened. And then they realize that it'd be beneficial to let Victor in on the operation. Victor is 100% on board with this, and this puts the part smuggling act into full fruition. That night, when Thomas goes to the sheds, Sir Topham Hatt scolds Thomas on why the mail wasn't delivered. And after he leaves, the engines ask Thomas is everything alright, and Thomas does what he does best and spills the fucking beans to them. And now, all of the steam team is in on the part smuggling. Now, rather than just have Thomas deliver the parts, all of the engines cycle through who's going to deliver parts to Hiro. And honestly, I think this is really nice for them to put all their differences aside to help an engine out. Man, look at Thomas being a useful engine getting his work done. Oh god fucking damn it, he's here! This guy is so bad at spying that he doesn't notice Gordon going over his head, taking the parts to Hiro.
Damn, bro, you're a dumbass.
Then Spencer goes to Emily to go and harass her on why she's working on his branch line instead of Thomas, but Emily isn't having that shit.
As I said, Thomas is a busy engine.
Where is he busy?
You're a big, strong engine, Spencer. Why don't you go and look?
Next we get to see all the progress that's been made on Hiro. And honestly, it's insanely sweet to see that Hiro went from being very quiet, meek, and kinda shy, to being far more playful and outgoing and much more friendly. Then Thomas and Percy go to find the mail cars in the quarry, but unfortunately for them, they run into Spencer. But fortunately for them, Spencer gets led under a chute by Mavis, where he gets pelted with a bunch of stones. This means that fortunately he won't be able to snoop around the Hiro's lookout anymore, but unfortunately he's also in the same location where Thomas picks up the parts. So the way that they get around that is Victor notices that Spencer cringes whenever Kevin drops cargo. So they devise a plan where Kevin constantly drops cargo, so Spencer cringes and closes his eyes while Thomas makes the getaway. When Squilliam Fancyson gets released from the steamworks, he's back to doing his usual shenanigans, and while he's on the hunt for snooping for clues, he finds Percy's mail cars. But when Sir Topham Hatt sees him with the mail cars, he assumes that Spencer was the one who took them. And of course, Spencer is very pissed about this.
I won't let Thomas get away with this.
We then see Hiro in full steam, but he needs one more part. Little did they know that Thomas was followed by Spencer, and now Spencer knew Hiro's location. The two engines now have no choice but to run. We got ourselves a full-on jail heist, boys. We gotta make a run for it. The chase sequence ensues, and man oh man is it tense. As you see Hiro try his damn best to keep up, he starts to fall apart, screaming in panic in the fact that he's literally dying.
No! Thomas, help me! More parts splattered and scattered from Hiro's engine. Thomas!
After Hiro was brought to a grinding halt, Thomas knew that he had lost. The cat was out of the bag and his friend was now at risk for being scrapped. Then Gordon pulls alongside the three engines and challenges Spencer to a race, knowing that Spencer couldn't refuse that opportunity. But little did he know that this was all a trick to get the Duke and Duchess to see the kind of shenanigans that Spencer was up to. That night, the engines sat in solemn, thinking about what they could do to help their friend. Thomas realized that the only thing that they could do was tell Sir Topham Hatt, which he did the next day. And then Spencer, not learning his lesson, tries to beat him to the punch. A second chase scene ensues where Thomas is trying to beat Spencer to Knapford, and Thomas takes a path over a bridge over a marsh. Spencer is too heavy for the bridge, and he collapses through it. God damn, I adore this crash so much, it just looks so cool. Thomas makes it to Knapford where he explains everything to Sir Topham Hatt. And Sir Topham Hatt is completely on board with helping him because he talks about how famous he is.
Oh, he's terribly famous.
apparently not famous enough, seeing as he went missing and you all forgot about him. Okay, but like, let's imagine if this same thing happened to like the Flying Scotsman or Tally Flynn, right? You know how much chaos that would ensue if they just disappeared off the face of the earth? So you're trying to sit here and tell me that Hiro's original railway didn't call up Sodor like, hey yo, you know that engine we gave you? Was Sodor just like, never seen him? Yo, we keeping this shit, B. The next day, Thomas and Percy take Hiro to the steamworks where he's fully serviced. And then we get to see Hiro back in his former glory, and he looks great. His design is both subtle and elegant, unlike other international foreign engines that we get, but we won't mention those. We then cut back to Spencer in the mud where Hiro brings Rocky to get him back on the rails. Spencer, seeing how good he looks when he's refurbished, he of course apologizes. At the end of the day, Thomas is talking to Hiro about the day's events, and notices that Hiro still looks sad. Thomas talks to Hiro about it, and Hiro still says that he misses his home. So Thomas makes an effort to talk to Sir Topham Hatt about sending him back home. Sir Topham Hatt of course agrees, and Hiro was sent back home, and that concludes Hero of the Rails. So my final thoughts on the movie, all jokes aside, it was really a good watch. Like, I'm not even joking. Like, watching this movie again after so long just really hit me in the face with a feeling of happiness and nostalgia, because I haven't seen good Thomas content in a very long time, you know, and watching the classic series is nice and all, but sometimes you do want to get some of that CGI, you know, going for you, but unfortunately there isn't really much to choose from when it comes to good content in terms of it. I would say overall, if you're looking for something to go back to, I would highly recommend watching Hero of the Rails. I really do think it holds up. You know, seeing how well animated a lot of the engines are and some of the just the shots and stuff, like for example when the sun is rising over the rail yard and then you see all the steam team and Thomas, you know, his hard at work face, that is one of my favorite CGI faces. You know, seeing that, and then my favorite aspect would be how well animated Spencer is. Yes, Spencer, I made a lot of jokes about him in this video, but my god, his animation was beautiful. Seeing him snake along, you know, the points and going around curves, and him coming to a gradual speed up and stop was just so, it really captured like a sly serpentine-esque look, and I think it was really well animated, really beautiful in all honesty. And I'm gonna say it, very controversial to say, it is my favorite thing, like looks wise, in Thomas and Friends from both the classic series and the CGI series. I just think it looks that good, and it really does appeal to me a lot. So if you're looking for kind of, you know, something that isn't the classic series, you know, you're just looking for a good old time with some CGI Thomas, I would highly recommend giving Hero of the Rails a rewatch if you haven't seen it in a while. It was a really refreshing experience. It was a pretty well written movie in terms of character, and honestly it was really nice to see some of the interactions with characters. As I said earlier, you know, with them interacting with each other, trying to work towards a common goal of helping an old engine, I thought that was it was really sweet. And it also just showed that kind of brotherly bond that a lot of the Steam team used to have that, you know, you really don't see that anymore. So that's all I gotta say for this video. Highly recommend giving it a watch. I'm Troublesome Junction signing out. I'll see you guys on the flip side.